Hello, everyone. This is Todd, host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Now, you can't see that very well, but they're harvesting sunflowers over there. Anyway, we're going to make a video today with all this harvesting that's been going on around me, livestock and stuff. I thought I'd do a video about being surrounded by food and trying to understand hunger. Okay? Or trying to understand hunger when you're surrounded by food. So, anyway, that's what we're discussing tonight. But yeah, I haven't had too much content on YouTube lately. I've been really busy. I've been helping a friend out for with his cows and stuff, get them ready to come out of the pasture and go in the corn stalks for a while before they start calving. So anyway, busy. I'm still trying to sit there and do my tree business too. But anyway, yeah, they're harvesting sunflowers over there right now, and they're unloading on the semis and stuff. I wish I could zoom in like this, but you'll see the semis go by. But I appreciate everybody being here. So we're gonna discuss, like I say, I've been so busy. I can't sit there and do 3 jobs. Something's got to give, right? Trying to sit there, work cows, work a business, and still trying to get this done, and this doesn't bring in anything to help put groceries on the table or anything like that. So I got to concentrate on other things. But I do the best I can. And it doesn't help that YouTube slams me down. I tell you what, when I go live, just to try to put a title on a video, they mess with me and make it hard. I need it just to put a title on a video. Whatever. You're a content creator, you get used to it. By the way, let's get on to the subject right away about being surrounded by food. Okay? Trying to understand hunger when you're surrounded by food. Okay, like they're harvesting sunflowers right there now. Fields galore. The little right past my grove, and you see that green out there, that's a wheat field. Patriot #1, welfare rides around the corner. Be safe, everybody. Absolutely great advice. Yeah, things are going to get pretty crazy. And this is the thing, right? I'm surrounded by food, but most of our agriculture food is produced by foreign workers because Americans don't want to pick tomatoes, right? Well, some of us don't mind picking tomatoes. All right, we don't mind sitting there feeding ourselves. But anyway, yeah, I'm surrounded by food. Wheat, millet, sunflowers, corn, soybeans, all this stuff. And they're bringing in the harvest big time. So, but, how am I supposed to understand hunger in this country? I don't understand. Okay, #1, this country produces more food in 1 year than we could eat in probably 4 or 5 years, right? How come it isn't the supply and demand, right? If your supply supersedes the demand, your price goes down. Well, we got a surplus of producing food in this country. How can we have a situation where people can't afford food? I understand, and I'm not talking about the people that just don't want to go to work or whatever. We've seen their videos. I'm talking about the people that are working 2 jobs. The person who worked their whole life and now they're on Social Security and they got to be on SNAP too because they can't afford it. Not only one government program do they got to be on, but they got to be on 2 of them. How can that be happening in a country that is you would not believe the food production in this country that has changed over the last 50 years. I'm 58 years old. Been dealing with harvesting and stuff and all that for 50 years, right? Back in the 1970s, a corn plant would have 1 good ear on it. And if it had 2 ears, the second ear was garbage. It wasn't no good, right? It was those small ears with the kernels of corn that didn't even look like kernel of corn and stuff. Okay, nowadays, we used to haul it to town with 350 bushel straight trucks. As you can see, we got to use semis now. We're on the same amount of ground, but now we're using semis to get it out of the field because, I mean, there's grain wagons and stuff hold over 1,000 bushel. These combines will hold, 400 bushel. It's crazy. It's just, but now a corn plant has 2 big ears on it, sometimes 3 that are bigger than the ears that they had 50 years ago. So that means the volume has gone up at least 100%, right? At least that's what I think it would mean. Fire Jason, hey, hi, how's everybody doing? Appreciate you being here. Like I say, if you want to help support the channel, this channel ain't ever going to ask for money. You know why? Because people are broke. Can't stand channels that sit there and you watch them and all of a sudden they become an infomercial trying to sell you something after they tell you the economy sucks. I don't understand that. Information should be free. An opinion, you have to pay to hear somebody's opinion. And that's what mine is too, an opinion. So I'm not going to ask for that. If I ever get big enough where I get monetized, you can watch a commercial and make the big guy pay. But hit that subscribe and that bell notification. Because we're in a world of hurt. We're in a world of hurt. If you live in a big city right now, as you can see, we aren't going to have food riots out here. Most everybody out here has a job. I'm sure there's very few people that are on EBT. I'm sure there's some. But they'll be, hello everybody, am I still here? I must have started getting too much volume because you disconnect me. See, trying to get the word out. Just out here watching a harvest, guys. Just out here watching a harvest. Okay? And we got to deal with all this stuff. Like I said, I live in a land of plenty. Where food and grains, meats are just surplus. And the thing is, we eat good, okay? we butcher our own meat, okay? We see it as it grows up. Anyway, we have real meat here and stuff. Good quality food here. And I don't understand why everybody else can't have it. They sit there, mass produce this food to where your hamburger could have 1,000 different cows in that hamburger, 1,000 different samples of a cow, because when they butcher it, they just put it all together. Where me, I see that cow, I know that's the burgers. Hey, I like the steaks those steaks look good on that cow. It's off the market stuff. But anyway, getting back to the abundance of food we have in this country. The working person with as much food as we have in this country. If you are a working person and earn a living, there's no reason why you should need SNAP to buy your food, because our food prices need to come down by 75% for sure. 75%, no problem, right off the top. We're getting screwed somewhere. Grain prices really, believe it or not, cattle prices are through the roof. I'll admit that. The cattle farmers are happy. The guy I'm working cows with, right? I sit there, oh, you're making a lot of money on your cows, huh? I bet you can afford to go to the grocery store and buy a hamburger then, huh? But that's how it's getting. I mean, I'm lucky where the locker I go to, hamburgers $4.50 a pound. For, like I say, grade A stuff, not the scrapings off the knives. But, I'm sick of seeing people struggle. I mean, I don't, with this EBT thing, it's kind of got me twisted to see kids have to go to starve because their parents are working their ass off and still can't afford it. I brought kids up, okay? I know how tough it is. Where you got to choose for some things, and then your kids will sit there and insult some of your meals because they ain't like you want them to make them and stuff. I know what it's like growing up poor. But you know what? I relied on myself. So when times got better, but I could always fall back on me. You fall back on the government, you're screwed. If the government is your safety net, you're screwed. Like Social Security is so great, then how come all these poor Social Security workers, retirees are still working in stores. Heating oil's down to $3 a gallon. I got a wood burning stove, buddy. I got a wood burning stove. Plus, I run a tree business, right? And I got a grove that's got dead wood. So I figure if I spend, and I'm not one that stocks up on wood. I don't like doing that, because when I go out and I cut my wood in the wintertime, I go out every couple of days. I get my exercise, forces me out, because tree business, you're kind of lumber now. So I'm gonna do a lot of piano practicing this winter. But I like getting out in the weather and stuff, and cutting the stuff down. But if I sat there and spend 15 hours a month on cutting my wood, right? 15 hours a month, and let's say what's $400 a month to heat your house in the dead of winter, maybe $500 a month. Okay, divide 500 by 15 hours. That's how much I paid myself an hour to go cut my wood. Pellet stoves are good. Yeah, I got an old wood burner. It's on the main floor. It's just cool. It's like the way the house is set up. You can open up all the doors and it circulates the air upstairs and everything. And I tell you what, there's nothing like wood heat. Nothing like it. Anyway, we're getting that time, folks. As you can see, I got dead trees behind me. But the best way to store firewood is let it stand until you need to use it. Unless it starts getting rotten, let it stand. So, like I say, I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. And I'd rather sit there and spend the 15 hours a month getting my firewood and splitting it and all that stuff, staying healthy, instead of paying somebody $500. And then, like I say, you get garbage heat anyway. I just don't like propane and fuel oil and stuff. And I don't like the way it is. It just doesn't heat right. Like I say, wood heat, when it heats the air, you sit in my chair's hot. It heats everything. That radiant heat. And it's warm. It's nice and warm. Anyway, getting back to the subject. Sorry, we still have leaves in Pennsylvania. Yeah, the leaves are turning here. I'm out here in the Panhandle, Nebraska. Winter's coming slow, but winter's going to be coming this year. The grove I'm in right now, there's been times where some winters I don't have barely no snow on the ground out here every once in a while. And then there's been times where I've had 5 foot of snow out here all winter long. Times I wish I had a snowmobile. Anyway, what about people that live in dense populated suburbs? Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter. Are these people actually going to follow through with their threats? I've been thinking about that. All these TikTok videos, people losing their mind and stuff over EBT. And it's only the ones that don't want to work. You don't see the mother of 2, single mom that's working 2 jobs that's on YouTube complaining. Maybe get rid of the IRS so she could keep her whole goddamn paycheck. And then we need to lower our food prices to normal. Like I say, you're out here in production where it's produced. You see how much you're getting gouged at the grocery store. But nobody grows a garden anymore. If Americans produced half their vegetables or stuff they needed themselves, like my mom, where we only had to go to a grocery store for a few items and stuff, we went back to that. Hey, the consumer would have more power. The consumer would have more control over prices. But people don't. Just like you want to take power away from the banks, that's easy. Stop borrowing money from them. Not to have, you can have a bank account, just stop borrowing money from them. Make them have to pay you money every month. If Americans for just one quarter, would not borrow a dime from a credit card company, a finance company, a bank, anything like that. Oh my God. Or invest in Wall Street. They would see the power we had. Do you have True Social? No, I don't. I need to get that Patriot number on. I need to get that. But, the thing is, I don't want to be in an echo chamber. People, why you're on YouTube? Why am I struggling on YouTube to try to, build a channel up where, you know, we're censored and shadow banned, because this is where the people are that don't want to hear it. If I go to an echo chamber, you know, and just sit there and say the same viewpoints everybody else, it's like being in the same room where everybody agrees. I guess maybe I like a little hostility. I don't know what it is, but you know, I want to go where I can make a difference, and you can make a difference. You know, like Charlie Kirk, he made a difference because he was discussing people that didn't agree with him. That one Nick Sortos or whatever they got assaulted in Portland, and then got arrested by the cops after he went by him for safety. That's crazy. You get assaulted, so you go to the go hang out by the cops, so you don't get assaulted. Instead, you get arrested. Boy, what's worse, getting assaulted or getting arrested? Then they got to decide while he's in the cockpit. What are we going to charge him with? What are we going to charge him with? This is a crazy world we live in, people. Crazy world. Well, I tell you what, they're going to have nice weather. They got, I wish I could zoom in. They got 2 combines out there. You know, I did the custom harvesting thing for a while. And the thing is, once you get going, then you're always waiting on trucks, especially if they got to deliver too far. So I guess the elevator must be going to stay open tonight till everybody's ready to quit. You got to quit when it starts getting a little darker out, because the moisture content starts going up too high. The Oklahoma Panhandle used to be called the Indian Territories, if I'm not, yes, it did. That was the Indian Territories. So was South Dakota. Basically, at first, anything west of the Missouri was considered Indian Territory. Yeah. But then they all boxed them in, you know, just like Indians, okay? They sat there and said, hey, you go on this reservation, our government did. You go on this reservation, we'll take care of you. We'll sit there and give you your supplies you need, your coffee, your sugar, you know, your hardtack, all that stuff you need to survive through the winter. How'd that work out for them? Everybody can say, well, they got casinos now. Well, that's just another way they're trying to appease them. But that money ain't making them no better either. But I know that's a touchy subject for some people. That combine is, yep, surrounded by all this food. What's up, Zaya? Surrounded by all this food and people starving in the whole world. I mean, you know, the thing is, people are going to start understanding when SHTF hits, you know, with the CBT, and people are understanding that food's probably a little bit more important than gas. And a lot of people are going to figure that out. Food's a little bit more important than gas. You know, filling your tummy or gold. I mean, if I got 10 chickens and it's SHTF and somebody goes, hey, man, I got an ounce of gold I'll give you for those chickens. Nope. And he can raise up to a pound of gold. No, you're not getting my chickens because I can't eat your gold. That's when, I guess that's when the goose that laid the golden egg, that'll be when food is worth gold, like it should be. They got 3 combines out there? Oh, no, that's a grain trailer. Just out here enjoying the scenery. Something you city folk don't see much, do you? The sense of freedom you have out here. I mean, you live out here, you got to be independent. Stuff breaks down, you fix it yourself. I mean, these small towns, you can't even get somebody to change a tire for you. So ranchers have to have, and farmers, they need to have their own tire machines now. I mean, their shops that they have are turning into every business that you got on Main Street. So anyway, yeah, he's full again. I wonder how many sunflowers, I never dealt with sunflowers before. I wonder how many bushel an acre you get for sunflowers. The thing is, I know one thing, you can fit a ton of them on a truck, a shitload of them, because they're so light. That those aren't even, they have sunflower seed trucks where the trailers, where the trailer walls are a lot higher. So these guys probably only be hauling maybe 600 pounds worth of sunflowers. I mean, 600 pounds, 600 bushel of sunflowers or something. Anyway, you got wild pigs running around there? No, we don't. No, we don't. I don't, sounds like those wild pigs are getting kind of crazy down south. And they sound like they get pretty big and mean too. No, we have antelope and deer, and we have rattlesnakes and stuff like that. But, we don't really have any killer stuff. I guess the mountain lions or cougars. There's some down there in the North Platte River Valley. But everything's pretty safe around here. Now, up in the northern pasture land of Nebraska, up in the Sandhills, oh my God, do they got wildlife there. Where the water just squirts out of the ground, people. I'm telling you, from Ogallala Aquifer, water just squirts out of the ground. Artesian wells. That's where I'm headed if stuff goes crazy. You're telling everybody where you're going, you ain't going to find me out there. There's a whole lot of nothing out there. So, but everything a body needs to survive is out there. Clean water, animals everywhere, and not a lot of people. I'd say there's maybe one person per every 20 square miles. I mean, it's isolated and desolated. When I was in the ranch up there, I mean, it's 106 miles away from the county seat. 106 miles. And I never went through one town when I was driving to the county seat. Does that explain anything? Out there where the buffalo roam. So, anyway. But, being surrounded by all this food and seeing people that are going to be hurting on Saturday. Do they have a right to be pissed? The entitlement mentalities need to stop, okay? People need to know that being productive, it just gives you a better life. You feel better about yourself. You accomplish something. Yeah, sometimes you come home tired, angry, or, I had just a terrible day. But still, people that just sit around and do nothing, boy, that's the human experience, isn't it? Absolutely doing nothing your whole life. What a waste of time. Waste of time. Now that my kids are gone and stuff, I'm going to start doing some traveling. I'm going to start experiencing life. I've worked labor for 50 years now. It's time for me to enjoy some life. That's why if I get monetized on YouTube, I can start making some awesome videos from all over the world. All over the country, including Alaska. Go on that maritime highway, take the ferry for 36 hours, and go up to Alaska and drive around. So, anyhow. Well, I'm down to one person. I guess YouTube's you can't talk about nothing. Like I say, if I was a guy putting on makeup right now, looking all stupid, or a guy shoving food in my face that used to be skinny and now I weigh 400 pounds because that entertains people how much McDonald's I can eat. That's the type of stuff they want to spread. And then people are worried about aliens coming down here. Are you kidding? Have you watched the shit that we do? Last thing an alien is going to do is, infest their culture with our garbage. Anyway. But since I only got one here, I got plans for the night. I am going to take off. Enjoy my evening. By the way, I hope everybody enjoyed the scenery of the harvest. And what's tomorrow, Friday? I'll probably have to do a live stream on Friday because Saturday I got to work cows all day. So I'll be busy on Saturday. Busy, 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 busy. Anyway, everybody have a great evening. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.